So you've got an appointment for a Covid vaccine. Brilliant news. You do need an appointment, remember. You can't just walk in willy-nilly. But anyway, what will happen on the day? Let's take a look. Hold your horses though. Before we get to the clinic, we just need to clear a few things up, because it might just save you a trip. You can't have the vaccine if you've had a positive Covid test in the last 28 days, or if you're waiting for the results of a Covid test, or if you currently have Covid symptoms. But don't worry, you'll be called again at a later date. And you can't have the vaccine if you're part of a Covid vaccine clinical trial. You may also not be able to have the jab if you've had any other vaccinations in the last 7 days, or if you're allergic to any ingredient in the vaccine. Take a look at the government website to find out what's in them. If you're unsure, then contact us before your appointment and we'll advise you. An announcement for young adults. We're not vaccinating children yet, but if you're a young adult and fall into a vaccine-eligible group, you may be called. The Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine isn't licensed for under 18-year-olds, but the Pfizer vaccine is licensed for over 16-year-olds. Right, you're off. Off to the clinic, all bundled up and ready to go, depending on the weather. Whatever outfit you choose, please wear a mask. We don't have masks to hand out for anyone who's forgotten, and it's still so important to stop the spread. Also, please do come alone unless you have to have a carer with you. Loved ones can wait in the car. Don't turn up early or late. If you're earlier than a few minutes before your appointment, it makes our job really difficult, as then we have too many people at the same time. We may even have to ask you to leave and come back again. So what happens when you get there? When you first get there, one of our lovely staff or volunteers will greet you, tick you off their list and give you a card. You may notice a bunch of colourful spots on the ground. You'll be pleased, or maybe disappointed, to know that you're not going to be asked to take part in a giant game of Twister, which would be particularly tricky as they're all 2 metres apart. In fact, they're guiding you where to stand, so you're socially distanced from other people who are waiting too. You'll also be told which vaccine you'll be getting. Remember, we don't know ourselves which ones we'll be giving out until sometimes just before the clinic, and you won't be able to choose. If you change your mind about the vaccine on offer, that's fine. Just let us know and we'll contact you at a later date. You'll then have your temperature checked, and no more than 3 at a time will be guided inside the clinic. There's a waiting room there where you can at last rest your weary legs, but don't relax too much. One of our clinicians will ask you a few questions first. Here they are, so you can start thinking about your answers. It's really helpful for the clinic to run smoothly if you're prepared. Have you had any serious allergic reactions where you've needed adrenaline? Or have you had any other unexplained anaphylaxis reaction? Are you taking blood thinning medication like warfarin, aspirin, DOAC, etc.? Or do you have a bleeding disorder? Are you pregnant, breastfeeding, or do you plan to get pregnant in the next 3 months? Don't worry, if the answer is yes to any of those questions, it doesn't mean you can't have the vaccine, we just need to know about it. So, quiz completed, no cash prize I'm afraid. Now you can relax, take off your jacket, if you have one. This really helps speed things up so we can get to your arm quicker, and take a seat. All the seats are cleaned between patients, by the way. You'll then be called into the vaccination room and your vaccinator will check those questions with you again, just to make sure. Also, really useful for us to know if you're not good with needles, that way we can be prepared. Then boom, it's over in a flash, and most people don't even feel it. One of our marshals will take you down the corridor to a room where you can chillax for a few minutes. Sorry, there's no Netflix. If you've had the Pfizer vaccine, we'll ask you to chillax for 15 minutes. That's so we can keep an eye on you to make sure you're feeling fine. If you've had the AstraZeneca vaccine, that's just 5 minutes. Your record will be updated on site, so your own GP will know what you had and when you had it. Simple as that. What you choose to do after your vaccine is entirely up to you, of course, within the rules. It's not unusual to feel a bit under the weather the day after the vaccine, but that won't last more than a few days, usually less, and we're afraid it probably won't get you out of doing the housework. So congratulations, we'll let you know when you're due for your second dose. Ta-ra!